Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than the normal videos we put out. Because I do so much gear reviewing, I think I do a poor job of actually explaining to you guys what I personally use in my kitchen on a daily basis. I don't simply cycle through this endless amount of coffee gear that I have. I have picked some favorites. There is some stuff that I use on a daily basis, and I want to explain to you why that is. So this video will be going over my pour over setup, and then shortly following it, we'll go over my current espresso setup. Again, I'll explain why I picked each of these items, which ones will probably be staying, which ones might be going, and I encourage you guys to lend your opinions down in the description if there's some stuff that you think I should check out that is blaringly missing from either of these setups. Starting off with the pour over setup, we'll look at the scale, which is kind of the centerpiece in many ways of a pour over setup. And for this is actually where I'm currently using the Time War Black Mirror. You might recall in my review of this scale, I mentioned that it's a little bit too thick for espresso. It's a little bit too large. It really is more of a pour over scale. And for that function, it works really well. And this is something that I don't necessarily see leaving anytime soon. I simply can't understand paying 2 or even 3 times more for a brand like Akaya when this does everything you need and kind of more. It's very accurate. It has a timer built in. It has auto stop start modes. It has a rechargeable battery that has been lasting really well that recharges by USB-C, which I think is just really, really cool. It's waterproof. So unless I start seeing some long-term quality issues with this, I don't see it leaving, and it looks great. Moving on to the actual V60, this is a bit of a funny one. A lot of people have been asking what this V60 is, and it's really hard because I can't find it anywhere to link for you guys. It's just completely unbranded. It's just a ceramic V60. It's nothing special. I do still have the box for it though. So if you guys want to try to find the contour pour over, that is what this is for those asking. It costs $15.99. So if you can find it somewhere, that is what this is. So mystery solved on that one. What I am pouring into is just a little fellow decanter. Not much to talk about a decanter. This one is good quality. It has a pretty iconic shape. It's perfect for trying out the journey pour if you want to show off to your friends on Instagram. And yeah, not much more to say, just a decanter. Something that hasn't been a part of the setup for all that long, or hasn't been a part recently and has come back in, is the Crew Sifter. In my review of this, I hope I got across how much you can really impact the flavor of your pour over by sifting. No matter how expensive of a grinder you have, you won't be able to achieve this level of grind uniformity. So it's a really fun thing to play around with. What I'm currently doing is I'm experimenting with putting in the really large pieces first and extracting those actually for a little bit before adding in the bulk of the grinds and then the fines at the very end. So this is a way to ensure you have still zero waste, but you're extracting more evenly across the grind spectrum. Super geeky, but if you have time to do it and you're the kind of person who likes to play around, I highly encourage still checking one of these out. It's really, really fun. Moving on, we've got the Stag AKG back here. And this is one thing that might be going. Much like Akaya scales, it's a very iconic piece. I love the look of it, but I think for the price, we can do better. So for now, this is a great kettle. I love using it. I have no complaints about it, but I think from a budget and value for money perspective, we might be able to do better. So drop your kettle suggestions down in the description below. I should also mention that before I had an electric gooseneck kettle, this is what I was using. It's a little sole hand kettle. You just pour in your hot water from whatever electric kettle you're using, and it gives you a little bit more control. I think it costs about 10 bucks. So if you're someone who doesn't want to invest in a pour over kettle, I highly suggest getting one of these. It'll greatly improve your control for very little money. Finally, we have the fellow Ode. And I think for now, the Ode is holding its place, but it might be on the chopping block soon. In terms of a looks perspective, I think it's a 10 out of 10, especially within this setup. From a grind perspective, it is still pretty good. It gives a great cup, and I love using the flat burrs for a pour over just because of the flavor profile that kind of gives. But I do have some complaints. It is messy. I maintain that. It is always going to be messy, no matter how much RDT, how much water you put on these grinds to try and eliminate static. It has always been a messy grinder. The other thing that kind of adds to the mess factor is these fins in here. In the review, I said I thought these were really neat, but they really hold on to grinds. This whole grinding or whole dosing cup is really nice looking, and it's great how it slides in magnetically, but it is a mess creator. So it looks good, it'll impress your friends with the magnet, but I don't love that dosing cup. So for now, the Ode is safe. It's holding its place, but it could be on the chopping block soon because we're going to be getting a lot more grinders in for review in the near future. So in a nutshell, that is my V60 setup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, stay tuned for the espresso setup and let me know if you have anything that needs to be tried in the setup. I will be happy to get it into the lab and give it a review and see if it sticks. So I look forward to doing this same video in maybe 6 or 12 months time to see what's changed. And without further ado, I will see you in the next video.